This is a really tricky question. It comes from an Edexcel paper in 2017, same one as the two proof questions from the previous video. So not really what you'd want at the end of your paper after two proof questions, but here it is. Okay, so let's just take a look then. So we've got the line OAN, OMB and AEB, and they're all straight lines. It tells us that AN is two lots of OA and the M is the midpoint of OB. So it starts off with OA is equal to A, and if this line is two lots of it, then that's 2A. The next bit, it tells us that O to B is B, and we know this is the midpoint, so it's a half B and a half B, and I'm making sure to put my directions on here so I don't get confused later. AP is equal to some scalar of AB, so this line here, we don't know how long it is or what fraction of the line it is, we just know that it's some part of this line, and we're going to have to figure out that if MPN is a straight line, we've got to find the value of what that scalar quantity is. Okay, so the key to this question is figuring out two roots of OP. We know that it doesn't matter which direction I take, so I could go all the way around here, I could go all the way around here, I could go anywhere I like, as long as that vector stays the same, this will always be the same answer. So it doesn't matter what route I take, it's always going to give me the same vector result. So I'm going to pick two routes, and I'm going to pick O to A to P, and I'm going to pick O to M to P. Okay, so O to P is O to M to P, and it could also be O to A and A to P. And I'm going to figure out what those two vectors are, and then I know that they're going to give me the same thing, so I can compare the two different equations that I'm going to form. So the first one then, OP is O to M and then M to P. So O to M is a half B, okay, this line here. We know that bit, that's the easy bit. And M to P is some scalar of this entire line here, M to M. Again, we don't know what this distance is. It doesn't tell us anywhere. So I'm going to call that scalar X. It doesn't matter what letter I use here as long as it's clear what I'm doing. So it's some scalar of M to N. Now, M to N, my only route is I can go backwards along this line, so minus a half B, plus A plus 2A, or plus 3A as it is. So that line is minus a half B plus 3A. And this line, therefore, is some scalar of that. So you can see here we've got M to P is some scalar of minus B plus 3A, minus B plus 3A. So OP is put all of that together, a half B plus X, and I've just switched these round so the minus isn't at the front, multiplied by 3A minus half B. Okay, second route then is going this way. So O to A to P. So O to A is the easy one, it's A. Then AP, which we're told down here, is a scalar using K this time of AB. So what's the line AB? Well, it's going backwards down here, so it's minus A plus B. So minus A plus B. So it's some scalar of that. So minus A plus B, and K is my scalar. So put those two together, and I've got A plus K, and again, I've switched them around so the minus is in the middle, B minus A. Right, so we now know that this OP is exactly the same as this OP, so we're going to put them together. Okay, so we've got a half B plus X times 3A minus a half B, and we've got A plus KB minus A. So that's those two roots put together. The next step is to multiply out our brackets. Because we want to start putting these together and simplifying, I've got A's and B's trapped in here, I've got A's and B's trapped in here, and I've got A's and B's all around. So we need to start to bring them together, be able to group them. So I've multiplied out my brackets. And after I've multiplied out my brackets, I'm now going to group the coefficients of B on this side, and I'm going to group my coefficients of A on this side. So factorize them, in other words. So B multiplied by a half is this section here, and then multiplied by minus a half X is this section here factorised, okay? And then plus 3ax, that's one side. The second side, so I've got a, if I take the a out of the brackets, I've got 1. A times 1 would give me a, and a times minus k would give me minus ak, and that leaves me with bk. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, well, having a look at those two equations, if I know that side is equivalent to that side, then my b coefficients here, so my half minus a half x, is going to be the same as k, because that's the coefficient of b on this side. And then same as this, the 3x here, the coefficients of a, have got to be the same as 1 minus k. So I'm going to put that together. So 3x is equal to 1 minus k. And this a half minus a half x is equal to k as well. Okay. Now, I'm just going to make this a little bit easier. Instead of having fractions, I'm just going to multiply everything by 6 here. So this equation's been multiplied by 6 on both sides. So 6 times a half is 3, 6 times minus a half x is minus 3x, and 6 times k is 6k. And it just makes it a little bit easier because I'm going to substitute the 3x here with the 1 minus k, so that means I've got equivalents here, so I can just substitute in. Also means I've not got any fractions to worry about, which is going to make this more difficult. So as I've just said, instead of 3x, I'm going to substitute in 1 minus k, and this means that I'm then going to be able to solve this now. I've only got one variable. So I've put this into brackets because this is a minus k and this is also a minus, so it just reminds me to remember this is minus k, meaning it's got to be plus k. So I've got 3 take away 1, add k is equal to 6k. So 3 minus 1 is 2, plus the k is equal to 6k. Take this k off from this side, and so take a k off this side. It leaves me with 2 is equal to 5k, which means that k has got to be 2/5. So there was a lot going on in that. It was quite a lot of working, and it was to be, most of the hard work was in figuring out that you needed to create equivalents, and it was a tricky piece of algebra. So if we mark scheme, okay, so we can see that the answer is 2/5. We've got 1 here for finding AB or BA, so we found AB. We've got 1 mark for some process to find either MN or PN or MP. So any of those would have given you marks, and then the process to find 2 of those would have given you the 3rd mark. Okay, so just 1 of them gives you the 2nd mark, and 2 of them gives you the 3rd mark. The process to find K, so using MN as a multiple of PN, or using MN as a multiple of MP, or using PN, it's a lot there. But basically, if you found one, the AB one here, which was the first one, you've got 1 mark. If you found one of the others that was relevant, you've got 2 marks. Finding a second relevant one would have got you 3 marks. Process to find K that was all correct would have also gained you a 4th mark. And then the answer mark was for finding that 2/5 or an equivalent. So meaning you could have got 4/10 or you could have got 0.4. That would have worked as well. I hope that helped. That was a lot. And I will see you again in another of the tricky questions.